How's it going, guys? Andy here, and welcome to another episode of the Human Connection podcast. This one is episode 2, and it's with my good friend Reezy Resells. Now, most of you will already know Reezy if you've been looking into the reseller niche for any length of time. Reezy's been all over US media. He's been on the Gary Vee show a couple of times, and I've invited him over to the UK to speak at my events for 2 or 3 times, I think now, which is what we begin talking about at the beginning of this show. Just for reference, we were talking about an event. I hold an event every year in London for people to come and learn about Amazon, and I usually fly over Reezy from California, and obviously this is the first year that hasn't taken place. Just a bit of context for you. But yeah, sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode. I think there's an awful lot of value in this one. I really enjoyed recording it, and really some interesting insight, I think, from a reseller who's been doing this for an awful long time. And I think it really will help you if you're just starting a business, or you're looking maybe some other ideas how to expand your business. So this is a long form type of content. So there are links down below if you want to download this onto your phone via a podcast player, so you can listen to it while you're exercising, walking the dog, in the garden, whatever you want to do. Or if you can watch it on YouTube if you're just prepping at home and packing some orders, maybe you can have it on in the background. But whatever way you consume it, I hope you enjoy it. Please give it a thumbs up if you like it, and let me know in the comments what is your single favorite piece of advice that you've got from this podcast. I'd really value your input. All right, guys, hope you enjoy my conversation with Reezy Resells. How you been doing? Because I know, when was the last time we chatted? Probably a while ago, probably a year ago, right?
Yeah, I mean, in face to face, yeah, we've exchanged some characters through various messaging platforms, but by now, you know, what's the date today? July 20 something,
22nd, yeah.
22nd. I should have been in the UK by now. We should have been hanging out, having a pint in the pub.
Yeah, I know, man. It's weird. It feels wrong that, you know, I'm not having a summit this year and you're not over, because it's almost become a tradition now, and it feels weird. But
I feel like tradition for sure. But the only thing that makes me feel, you know, I was like, everyone got screwed equally. I mean, I guess that's not true. Some people are making a lot of money, but it definitely affects everyone negatively in some way. We're all dealing with it, you know. We're all canceling trips, we're all missing events, we all got concert tickets refunded, you know. We all, I mean, I guess I don't know about you, but apparently Americans aren't allowed anywhere, so screwed on that one.
Yeah, pretty much the same, really. I mean, you know, my lifestyle is mainly kind of travel and trying to see the world and make a few quid on the side, really. And so that's out the window this year and for the foreseeable. So that's a bit of a big change. And
you didn't get to go to South Africa this year?
Well, we're still booked a flight on British Airways in September. So I don't know what's happening with that. I don't really feel like it's safe to go, because South Africa is a lot further behind the UK and the US, so they're really hitting a peak at the moment. It's pretty crazy. So I don't really think it's going to be possible to go there, but we'll just have to wait and see how it turns out. But that was I was due to be there in September, and some other places later on as well. So yeah, everything's off. But you know, that's, as you say, it's the same for everyone in different aspects. Certainly way harder for others. I've been really lucky with my business. It's been cracking on. It's been pretty good. That first few months was really good for my stuff. Coincidentally, I had a fair bit of stock up at Amazon when they shut the door. I had a fair bit in there. I'd like to say it was from my own experience and some sort of cool move, but it wasn't. I was just a bit of I was going to take a bit of time off about that time, so I sent a bit more stock than usual up to Amazon.
Q4 is going to be insane. Yeah, I can't imagine. There's no way you have enough stock. Are you having trouble getting supply from your suppliers at all?
It is hit and miss, but most people are up and running. There was definitely a dry stage where just everyone was closed, no one was doing anything. But that was the time I'd pretty much. I always have about 3 months in my warehouse anyway, 3 months supply as like a buffer, and I have some long-term stuff I sit on as well. And I just happened to put a big order into FBA when they shut the doors anyway, so I could ride out that period pretty well. And what would actually.
Are you guys having the buy box issue that we're having?
Yeah, I'm hearing about it. I'm not seeing it too much on my stuff, but I'm certainly hearing a lot of people saying there's some weird shit going on.
Yeah, basically it's not rotating anymore. So you could have 5 people with the same price, and it's only going to give the buy box to one person. It's not going to rotate. And we don't know exactly what the metrics are. I've looked at it. I've seen sometimes it's, well, this guy has more reviews, or this guy has a 3 and this guy has a 5, or this guy has 1,000 units in stock, but it just seems hit or miss. And it's one of those, you've been selling on Amazon long enough, like I have, right? To where when people say it's a glitch, I go, no, it's not a glitch. Amazon made a change. And sometimes they don't make the best changes. Usually they when they make a bad change, they go back and change course and alter it. But have to deal with it for 2 weeks and sometimes a month until it gets fixed, and so I hear people saying, the sky's falling, we're going out of business, and I'm like, well, that's what happens to some people, like we've been in selling on Amazon for long enough to where I almost don't even need to look at your sales or other people's sales that have been on Amazon for a long, like if I've known you since I started selling not since I started selling, but since I started doing Reezy Resells, social media, if I've known you to be one of my peers for that entire time period, you've weathered these storms, what's going on, how to keep going, I'm much more impressed by the person that makes 100,000 every year for 5 years in a row than the person that does 1 million in 1 year, because, well, first of all, you don't know what people's net profit is, but the people that stick around and endure, those are the ones, I know a lot of people that were real successful on Amazon and, what are they doing now? They're selling mattresses, they're onto some new hustle, like, and for me, I'm like, I'm not going nowhere, this is the move, you just need to be adaptable.
No, I get you. I mean, there was plenty of people back probably, I don't know, maybe 3 to 5 years ago where Amazon suddenly become trendy, and there was a lot of marketers jumping on and using Amazon as the platform to, sell courses and everything else like that. But, before that, I was in it probably 5-6 years before that, as were you, and will be that long out the other side as well. But those guys have already moved on. They've made their money, probably made a shed load of money, and they've moved on to property or other courses and whatever else.
Shed load?
A shed load, yeah. Is that a new one? Is that a new English
one? It's not new, but I just love it because in America we say shitload.
Yeah, a shed load.
But it's literally almost the exact same word.
Yeah,
it definitely
exactly.
means the same thing.
Yeah.
And I can't say mine on public television, or around children, and shed load is fine.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, Chris Rock is a great one for that. Chris Rock's got some really good, he doesn't like to swear, and he's got a load of really good sort of words that sound exactly like the word that he means, but it's not. It's a different one. So it's some good ones there. Anyway, but yeah, that's the thing. People come to me whenever something shifts like this. People come to me as they come to you and say, "Oh shit, what's your take on this whole thing?" Yeah, they're losing their shit, and it's like, I just noticed as oh yeah, people are talking about that, okay, but I haven't at this point. It's like, well, I haven't seen it long enough to get any conclusions. I'm like, okay, something's changed. I'm not really seeing a massive drop at the moment, but then it's such early days. I need to see it further back anyway. It's just kind of, the pulse hasn't increased at all, because it's just like something will happen and we'll see. The further we go, it might get put back, it might not. We have to see how it pans out and what it actually means to sales and all this sort of stuff. So yeah, a lot of people say, have you heard about this? Like, yeah, I heard about it. What are you doing? Nothing. Not at the moment. We'll see.
It's real similar to when prices change and or fees change. I mean, so for example, you guys know I sell books, not so much right now. I'm focusing on other products, and we can talk about why that is also here in a minute. But
Mm.
I remember when some fee changes happened, and now they're pretty good about it happens all like globally. You know, if it goes up $1 here in America, it goes up a pound over there for you guys too. And I remember our good buddy Luke Pastor, who's a smart dude and hard worker, right?
Really
and he
hard.
sells bulk books in the UK, EU, FBA. And he was like pulling his hair out, I remember I was surprised because on social media he didn't have this vibe, but then when we were at the pub, he's like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, mate.
Mm.
And I was like, dude, you're gonna keep selling books. You're just gonna weather the storm. And he was like, what do you mean? And I was like, dude, do you know how many times this has happened in the last 15 years that I've sold on Amazon where they raised the fees $1? I'll tell you exactly what happens. A lot of people are gonna quit. A lot of people are gonna give up. It's gonna start. Here's how it's gonna start. Everyone's going to cry. A lot of people are going to quit and give up. A lot of people are going to liquidate their inventory and then give up. And this is going to cause, for a momentary, the profit will be down across the board. And if you sell books, especially if you have a large inventory, there's only about 10,000 popular titles that most people read. And so you're bound to have, 10, 12, 20 copies of this book at any given time. A lot of them, it's classic stuff. Moby Dick, The Shack. Anyway, so the price goes down and now you're sitting on it like, well, how am I going to make any money? Well, you're going to wait a month, 2 months, and then across the board, the low price on Amazon is going to raise up equal to the amount that the fees increased. So if the previous break-even price on a book was £6 and they raised the fees £1, the new break-even price is now £7, and everybody knows that. But you have to wait for the people who aren't paying attention and for the people who are scared and for the idiots to liquidate and go out of business, and then the price comes up. And then what happens also is even better is Amazon selling always goes in waves. Everyone's like, oh, it's the bee's knees. It's the best thing in the world. It's making me so much money. I quit my £200,000 a year job. I got 12 college degrees. I don't even use them. Then Amazon hits hard. Then everybody goes down. Then the profits come back up once everyone forgets about Amazon. And you get about maybe 6 months to a year of that. Then it gets popular again because everyone figured it out. The marketers noticed. People start releasing courses, like you said, and pushing it again. And then waters get crowded again. And what happens is Amazon wants us to behave in a certain way. We are sheep and they are the farmer. And they're hurting us with these different rules, right? Governed by money. People who pay attention. So that's how they get our attention and how they control us is with money. And then we figure out where the loopholes in the fence are. And we escape from our pen, so to say. And we, now they have way too many books at their inventory, or, you know what I mean? It's just, we're not doing exactly what they want. So then they change the fees and they alter course again, or they add new long-term storage fees. Or when I started selling, Andy, and I don't know about when you started selling, there was no long-term storage fees.
Not at all.
I would send in books to FBA and I would be like, well, as long as it sells for $1 profit sometime in the next 3 years, I don't care.
It's all good. Yeah, just
everything, shoving shed loads at a time, man.
That's it. Yeah,
and then as the long-term storage fees came, and now we have the monthly rolling fee. At first when it came out, I remember it was like, oh, we charge long-term storage fee once a year, and I forget the day, but let's just say it's June 1st, right? So then what do? You wait till June 15th and you send everything in, because then what happens is June 1st comes around again and you're 2 weeks shy of 1 year. So you still don't get charged a 1 year long-term storage fee, and you essentially get 1 year, 11.5 months before you get charged with that. So then they got smarter, and then they're like, oh, it's a 6-month fee now. We charge it twice a year. So now you could still get 11.5 months of, stress-free storage. Then they got even wiser and they're like, no, now it's rolling. You know what I mean? So now that's over. They fixed that with the rolling. So they get smarter. We adapt. And the people who can't adapt either, figure out another hustle. There's a million ways to make money on the internet, or they go back to getting a regular job. And when I see people that have been consistently selling on Amazon for 5 years and they're still feeding their family, I don't care how much actual money they're making or if they have a Lamborghini or whatever. My definition of success, at least for Amazon sellers, is you're happy, you're feeding your family, and you're not working for the man.
Yeah, exactly.
Do they call it the man in UK?
Yeah, I get that reference. Yeah, exactly. And this is the thing. This is what I've always said to people. I know, especially in America, there's a lot of hyperbole. I mean, especially the early Gary Vee was just like hustle, grind hard, every hour of the day, make the money, blah, blah, blah. Now he's throttled that back into a different thing, and which is pretty much do whatever you want to do. But I've always said you should sculpt your business around what you want. You want to be clear about what you want out of your business first, because as you say, there's a million ways to make money. And if you just end up being busy and sort of stressed because you're making money just because you're being busy, then you may as well have a job and a pension and paid holidays every year. Because if you're gonna do that, you may as well just have the security. If you want to run your own business, you should figure out, okay, what do I want? Do I want to make $1 million? Do I want to earn this much? Do I want to have more free time? Do I want to spend more time with the kids? So I'll do this, just like Luke has. Sort of organized his time around his kids, and just like you have. And for me, it was about traveling. So the type of stock that I invest in and the type of deals that I go for are always every day based around my lifestyle and what I want to do. And that, I think, is more important, way more important than how much money. It doesn't matter about what your figures are. It's like, are you enjoying your life? Are you doing something with passion and doing what you want to do, rather than just doing it for the sake of numbers? Because what's the point? You're going to die with you can't, what's that expression? You don't have pockets in a shroud. You can't bring it with you.
You can't take it with you. Yeah, I don't know about pockets in the shroud, but you can't take it with you, right?
Exactly. So what's the point? There's no point, slaving your guts out for money for the sake of money. The money is there to do something for you, and you've got to figure out what that is that you want to do with that money, and that's way more important.
If you don't absolutely love what you're doing, and I would wager that most people don't really love selling, and I also laugh at people when they say making money is their passion, because that's not a passion. You haven't figured it out. Your passion is, what would you do for free? What do you get so excited to do that you could do it for 12 hours a day, hold your piss for 12 hours, forget that you didn't eat food, and it provides value to others and helps others. So you like doing it, it's your talent, and it helps others, and coincidentally you will get paid. That's your passion. You know what I mean? But not to knock selling. I don't know. It's a weird, we label stuff, but I like selling far more than I like a lot of other stuff. I certainly wouldn't like to dig a hole in the ground for 12 hours. Sure. And I definitely don't want anybody ordering me around except for my wife, So, hi Rosa. So, do you know what I mean though, right? For me, it's always been a means to an end. And I didn't always know what that end was. When I started selling full-time on Amazon 15 plus years ago, I put $100,000 in the bank in the first 12 months, like no debt, $100,000 in the bank. This was almost the first year that you could send stuff into FBA. I didn't know it at the time, but now I kind of look back and be like, wow, you could have did anything, Mike. And so for a while I was like grinding, house full of books every day, working 12 hours every single day, and not taking any time off. And thank God I found, that Gary Vee book one day, and I started doing social media, because when I started sharing and helping others make money, and they would send me messages saying, I helped them pay their bills, I helped them get presents for their kids, or they went to Disneyland and took the kids for the first time, something they never thought they would do, or they took a trip to South Africa and they've, now they're able to travel and show their kids the world or whatever. There's so many people that have learned from me that have made 10 times more money than I've ever made on Amazon.
Yeah, exactly.
And that makes me feel so good. That's what wakes me up. That's what makes me feel like I'm fulfilling that dream that I had as a child, where I was like, I'm going to be important. I'm going to be special. I'm not going to be just like these guys, like my parents or other people that I see that, hate their job, because I remember being like, I'd say probably up until I was about 12, I had that childlike wonder to where I was like, anything's possible. If you believe it, you can achieve it. And they tell you that when you're really young. But then what happens is when you start to become a young man, they start telling you, forget about your dreams, get back to work. You know what I mean? Like that's
be
never
realistic.
you know. I remember drawing, and I used to love drawing, and people would be like, "You'll never make it as an artist. You suck at drawing." Like adults telling you that. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And you know, now I know anything really is possible, but you have to literally pledge your soul to doing it, and you have to just give it your all and just keep going and keep going. And for me, reselling and selling on Amazon was the vehicle that gave me the freedom to find my passion and then to be able to put out 550 videos on YouTube to the point where now I'm making well over 6 figures off of my personal brand. I make way more off of Reezy Resells than I do off of actually selling. It's not, I'm not going to stop selling, right? It still puts money in the bank account, but it's like, like you said, you know, you can't just drone on and on. So right now we're doing a lot of merchant fulfilled because of the buy box is all messed up, and we're doing a lot of online arbitrage, and I want to capture. Prices are very inflated right now, and it's hard to predict what's going to happen. So I'd rather capture the price right now than even wait 7 to 10 days for it to get to FBA and go active. So we're doing a lot of merchant fulfilled orders, and we're shipping, you know, 100 to 300 packages 3 times a week. So I know Monday, Wednesday, Friday, those are the days I have to suck it up, go into the warehouse and just pack orders. Maybe I can, you know, trick a couple people into helping me because it's just me right now. COVID took all my employees, and maybe I'll do the dishes and then ask Rosa if she wants to come help me or whatever. But I got Tuesday and Thursday to produce content and to get Reezy Resells stuff done. The weekend is for the family. The family does a couple things without me. My wife's a music teacher. She has some lessons on the weekend. And during that time, that's more time that I can do Reezy Resells stuff. But I have to have that balance, you know what I mean, so that I can continue. But whatever you have to figure out what you want in life. You know, I could do a lot of different stuff. We got $150,000 loan from the government for the recovery. We haven't really touched it. We're not exactly sure what we're going to do with it. Thank God we don't need it right now. We might end up just giving it all back, you know, with a little bit of interest. It's good to have, but at the same time, you just have to know what you want to do so that you can get there. Because if it's, you know, and I notice this a lot because I have things that only happen on a certain day of the week. When that weekday comes back again, and I ask myself, shit, it's Saturday and I'm going to the gym with the boys again. Like, the hell did I do last week? You know what I mean? Like, you have to do something every day and every week that really, you know, fires you up and keeps you going and can make you look back at your past week self and be like, man, you really did kill it last week, you know, because otherwise you just feel like a hamster in a wheel. And I think no matter how much money you have, that's how it's going to be. And like I said, like doing what you want to do. I will never be a guy that owns a big company that has 50 or 100 employees. That's not something I'm into. I mean, I guess I maybe could, but there would be someone else running it and they would be very well paid. And I would be like the guy that started it that doesn't show up very often. Because that just seems like stress and anxiety to me. I just want to make enough money to be able to do what I actually want to do. And I'll do that thing all day long, wake to bed and that will make me a lot of money. But that's what I want to do, not that thing that just makes a lot of money. And sometimes I see people who they just chase the money so hard and they never sleep. I know people that sacrifice sleep at least one night a week because they stay up all night working, you know, and I don't understand how they do it. Like, I don't know, like maybe if I think if I would have to like trick myself into wanting a Lamborghini, and if I could successfully trick myself, then I would have like something to chase, like how Gary Vee says he wants to buy the jets, you know? Does he really want to buy the jets? Or is that the thing that he's brainwashed himself to know to help him keep going every day, you know? Because
so big, it's such a big deal that you never really quite get there, or it's going to be an awful long time before you get there.
Exactly. I listen to a lot of motivation stuff. If anyone who is listening or watching ever feels down, go to YouTube, type motivation, watch every single video that comes up. Just let it play.
A great one.
And Matthew McConaughey has this saying where he's like, my hero is me in 10 years.
I love it.
You know, and so because of that, you'll never become your hero. You know what I mean? You'll never catch him. It's important to have that thing that you always chase, you know?
I think you and me, I think we've got very similar ideals because so so much over the years when people chat to me and say, what's your situation? How many staff has you got? And, it's quite an old fashioned kind of viewpoint now. It's changing, but very much for a long time, certainly in our generation, your success was often governed by how big your business was, how many employees you had, and everything else like this. But so they talk to me and say, so how many full-time staff you got? I say, no, it's just me. And I say, well, really? You're successful on Amazon and it's just you? It's like, yeah, I got people that I can ask when certain periods when it's busy and I need to get stuff done. There's always people that will come in and help me, and that's cool. But I've built my business based around my lifestyle, and I wanted to achieve certain things. I've got these tick boxes. I wanted to travel. I wanted to have zero anxiety. I didn't want to have zero stress. So I built my business based around that. I could earn way more money than I earn, but I choose to earn this much money and live this much, and that's my lifestyle. Bare bones, I can run my business bare bones on 2 days a week. So effectively I could put my feet up and do absolutely nothing for the rest of the time. And then if I want to go away for 2 weeks, 3 weeks or more, then I can get ahead of myself. And I've designed it so a lot of my stock is fairly slow selling but higher margin, so I can get ahead of myself into Amazon and then literally check out, and then I'm just keeping an eye on things. So that's me personally. I can earn way more, but I choose not to, because how much do you need? I prefer to live my life, because life is happening right now. This is what people forget. Life is happening right now. We only get one way around. It's slipping away, so to speak. And I think I'm 41. You're catching me up now, but when you get to that sort of age, you haven't got that 20 mindset. When I was 20, I just wanted to be a millionaire. I'm like, that's what I want to do. I'm going to make multi-millions. I've got all these ideas, and you have the passion and that sort of work all night hustle. And don't get me wrong, I loved that energy. I love doing that, but I don't want that anymore. You look at things now, and I look at nice cars, and I've had a load of different cars over the years, but now I look at them and I'm like, that's just baggage now. I look at it, I don't need that anymore. I don't need that validation. I don't need the hassle, and more stuff is more complication, more hassle, and more anxiety. And I want to live simple. I don't want to live lean. I don't want employees. That's more hassle, because then sometimes they leave or they have their own personal problems that you have to be mindful of. Just keep it lean, keep it clean, and the most 80-20 on the profit, maximum profit, minimum input. And that's me. I'm gravy, and that's fine. And I can, keep that rolling and make sure that my business is always moving forward, but to a level that I want it to move forward, how I want it to.
I think it's important to think about, try and remember when you were a child, what your dreams were before you were tainted with money, right? Before money became part of the picture, before you were around people that were super concerned with money, before you were hyper aware of your parents arguing about money. I'm sure everybody's parents argued about money unless you were just filthy rich. And before you had to provide. I mean, I lived on my own since I was 16, got married and had a kid. So I had to drop out of high school and make money. You know what I mean? If I wanted to take care of my family and be a part of their lives rather than them just living with grandma, I had to man up. But I'll never forget, when I was like 8 and before, society ruined me and told me, wake up, anything's not possible. That's something we tell kids, I remember I had it all planned out. I was going to join the Air Force. I was going to become a jet pilot. And after that, I was going to join NASA and dedicate my life to becoming an astronaut and get on the moon. That's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I have asthma now. I have asthma, so I don't know if that would have ever worked out or whatever. But just the thought to think that you could do it. And I see adults all the time. I saw something yesterday on Facebook. People were talking about billionaires are evil and this and that, and they make all their profit off the backs of everyone else. And why are you chasing to be a billionaire? People are protecting the billionaires. People like Jeff Bezos. They didn't really. I don't think he started from, abstract poverty or anything, but, he wasn't a billionaire or even a millionaire when he started. And look at him now, and people are like, yo, he's the devil. The chances of you becoming a billionaire are so small. Like, why would you even, protect billionaires? You'll never be one. And all I could think was like, who cares how small the chance is? Like, why? Like, that's such a poisonous thought to just look at the numbers and then go, well, the chances of you, becoming that are so small. Like, do you think Michael Jordan ever looked at his chances to become the greatest basketball player ever and just like, yeah, well, that's not realistic. You're never going to get anywhere in life if you focus on what's realistic. Realistic should be a swear word.
Yeah.
I just hate it. It's like, that's not realistic. What's realistic? Stuff you see everybody doing. That's not what I want to do.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
want to do.
And it's
different.
Everyone. You shouldn't model yourself over one person. You should say, "What do I want? What is my passion?" And that could be a tiny little job. You could be doing a really simple job that you absolutely love, and you just want to do that all day, every day for the rest of your life. But great, no one's judging you. You should find what keeps you happy and is good for you and your family. And
if that's sitting in your backyard in England and handcrafting furniture.
Yeah.
And making £4,000 a month, and you only need, I don't know, 2,000 to live, or whatever it is. And you have an endless list of high-end clients that want your furniture for their house, and you get featured in magazines a few times here or there. But your passion is to have a pint of beer out in the backyard and work on your unique wood crafting. Like, that's great. You know what I mean? You don't need $1 million to make it happen. Did we just lose video?
Yeah, your camera's gone off. Yeah, you're back.
All right, we're back. Sorry.
That's all right. That's cool.
I have yet to figure this out. I'm setting up my new studio, and I'm using a real camera, not a web camera, and I think it has a 30-minute time.
Yeah, they do sometimes, don't they? It looks good though. It looks nice. Camera is good quality. But yeah, that's it. I mean, this is what I try and get across to people, because it's natural. It's human instinct is to try and say, how are you doing? What are you doing? It's like, don't necessarily be like me, but I can show you and help you use Amazon to find what, to facilitate your life. But ultimately, any job, unless it literally is your passion is forestry, or your passion is rescuing animals, then obviously your job is your life. But really, your method of income should really facilitate your passion in your life, whatever that is.
Everyone gets blinded by what others are doing, and they try to copy them instead of replicating their success in their own way. They try to 100% copy it.
Yeah.
For example, I taught a lot of people how to sell books or how to sell on Amazon, and then they saw what I did with YouTube and my success, and so then they try to do exactly what I'm doing on YouTube. So without, just to make it easier, for lack of a better phrase, they want to be the next Reezy.
Sure.
They literally copy me. They've only been selling for a year, and they maybe sold $100,000. Now they're starting a YouTube channel, and they're documenting it, and they wonder why people aren't watching. Why is it not taking off? Well, there's a couple factors. Maybe you're not that interesting. Maybe you're not that passionate about this subject, and it doesn't shine through. Or maybe just you haven't been doing it for 15 years. You don't have a trophy that people can look at and see, oh, wow, he's done it. Who wants to read a book about how to build a house by someone who's never built a house?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So I always tell people, look, like, this YouTube personal brand thing works, but it won't work if you don't do it based around the thing that you're doing. And Gary Vee always says, document, don't create. Well, if you haven't done anything in your past that's noteworthy, it's very hard for you to succeed. And he always gives the example of, like, Coco Chanel, like, what if she would have vlogged, from the day she started making dresses to, where she is now? Like, that would be amazing, Well, guess what? If she didn't actually make it, it wouldn't be amazing. It would just be another person who tried to document a journey that they didn't complete. And the whole time, it's not even interesting for most people until you hit that threshold. People like to watch and learn from people who have done something. And so find out what your thing is. What have you done? Did you play soccer or football? I don't know. You guys call it football or soccer over there?
Football, yeah.
If you played football through college and your college won some trophies and you were the all-star player and you have trophies from that, and you took lessons your entire life, and then you sold on Amazon for 1 year, and now you're trying to do a personal brand around selling on Amazon, it's not going to work. You should be talking about football.
Exactly.
making a channel teaching people how to play football, teaching kids how to get better, how to learn the things that you learned, through the 30,000 pounds of training and traveling that you spent in high school, to get around and go to all these events. And it's like people just lack self-awareness. And I think once you figure it out, things kind of click. And that's what's great about social media is you can put stuff out. What works? Oh, that works. Like for me, I thought I was just going to show up and teach people how to sell on Amazon and they were going to love it. Turns out they are very inspired by my backstory and where I come from. And that's probably half, if not 75% of the value that I bring to the table is like, look at Reezy. He was homeless, came from a house of abuse, drugs, domestic violence, dropped out of high school when he was in 10th grade. If he could do this, surely I could do it,
Yeah.
And so it's hard, but anybody can make it on. So everybody's interesting. Everybody has a story to tell, but you have to tell your story.
Yeah.
Not
find your own
story.
Exactly. That's the thing. Find your own path. Find what you want to do, and find what your own passion is. And that's true. You see that all the time. People will naturally either with the business they want to model their business on you, or they want to they want to do the same sort of thing you're doing on YouTube, whatever it is. But yeah, I think you've got to be honest with yourself, and that's not always easy because you might want to say, well, I want to do this, but do you really? You have to know yourself. It's like, well, I'd like to do this, but the reality is this will at some point become a burden or anxiety, and I want to do this, but that will cause more trouble. So you really have to find the sorts of things that fit in well with your lifestyle and will keep making you happy.
Do what you want to do, right? And so like a lot of, and I kind of just had a little insight right now, a lot of people see me and they do what I've done exactly, but they still don't see what really happened. And what really happened was I started selling on Amazon to gain more freedom. Once I had that freedom, I was able to pursue something that I was really passionate about, which was YouTube. YouTube takes a lot of time. I have a video editor now, but you can't afford a $500 a month video editor when you're only making $12 a month off of YouTube. You know what I mean? And so I had the freedom, and some of you guys will have to learn how to edit video and use cameras and all this stuff, right? You need freedom so that you can learn how to do the thing that's going to help you pursue your passion. So sell on Amazon, get that freedom, retire your wife from work or your husband, spend more times with the kids, become more happy and more self-aware, and then try a bunch of different stuff until you find what it is you actually love to do. And I always tell people, I was like, don't forget, do you guys have KFC chicken there or no?
Yeah, we got that.
Colonel Sanders didn't start KFC till he was 65 years old. Right. And so I tell myself that all the time because I still feel like, I'm still on a journey. We're always on the journey. It never ends. Right. Like this, so you got time. That's what we got. We all got time. You know what I mean? And it's like sometimes when I wake up, I do feel like the hamster. You know what I mean? That's why I try to make sure I do something every day or every week that's I can remember easily. That's great. But guess what? It never ends. You know what I mean? So just quit looking for the finish line because there is no finish line, and just keep going.
Yeah, exactly. There's only one terminal finish line, and you don't want to be rushing towards there. So
no, sir.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, that's the thing. There's human nature is always, if I can just get to this, then I'll be happy. If I can just achieve this, then I'll be happy. But if you achieve that, I can guarantee you'll find something else that you just want, or something you just want to buy, and this, that, and the other, and time will fly whilst you're just trying to get to that point. Now, I'm not advocating not working hard, because working hard and hustle is how you achieve what you want to achieve to get where you want to go. That's all good, been there, done that, spent most of my early years working long hours, working very hard and learning as much as I possibly could. I feel like now in my 40s, I'm in a slightly different place, but I'm doing me now. I'm doing a different type of thing. I'm still working hard. I enjoy working, but I work at different times, and then I have times that I chill out with my wife and my family, and and that again, that's what I want to do. So
yeah, you got to hustle on the micro and the macro. Exactly. If you work a full-time job and you only have 4 or 6 hours of time to spend with the children in a day, but you still want to work on your passion or learn a new thing or try to work on the thing that's going to break you free from the 9 to 5 or whatever. Well, guess what? You're staying up after the kids go to bed, or you're waking up before the kids go to bed.
Yep.
Or you can just not really try and then not spend time with your kids and then ignore them and do that thing during that time period. But that, again, then I would say that's probably not what most people want. I have a 20-year-old daughter who moved out, and I'm seriously sad about it every single day.
You moved out? I didn't know that.
She moved out last year. She has a legitimate boyfriend.
Oh, man.
And that's probably the biggest compliment I've ever gave him. But, I also have an 8-year-old, and she's 8, and she's like almost 12, and 12 is kind of like when they're not a kid anymore, Yeah, and so I'm hyper aware of the child, and spending time with my child. And it's like I almost forego everything for that, like I'll do that later. You know what I mean? Like,
she's only 8 for a year, that she's only 8 for a year, and then she's not going to be 8 anymore. She's not going to do the same thing. She's going to get older, and she's not going to have that same relationship with you, so yeah, you have to treasure every single moment like that, because that shit goes by too quickly. And this is what I'm trying to remind myself every day is, as you say, human connection, I think for me personally, is way more important than anything. To be able to sort of connect with people one-on-one and really sort of get someone and understand someone and feel like you really have made a connection with someone is really gratifying for me. Even if I just meet up with someone one-on-one and just have a really, you have a really good conversation with someone, and you come away feeling really good, like deep inside, like I really enjoyed that, and it almost stays with you. Those are the sorts of things that you can get as a human being on a guttural, visceral level that just buying a new car just doesn't touch. It doesn't touch anywhere near that. So, my sort of second part of my life now is on the quest of more of those sorts of things, getting to know people on a deeper level and finding out what makes them tick, and maybe helping them if I can, and just sort of like connecting with people on a one-to-one as a human being, rather than just, I spent a lot of time with people, but sometimes I don't really know those people. I know what they do as a job, and I help them in a way, but sometimes it's interesting to find out more about their family and what's important to them and their values and what they're worried about and this, that, and the other. Sometimes that's more rewarding than the money you can get if you spent that time doing other things.
Yeah, I mean, some of the, like, when you heard the saying, money can't buy happiness, and money isn't everything, and I do think it's important to not try to ingrain that stuff into your head too much, because you do need money to accomplish stuff. Absolutely. And it can help you very much so I try to refrain from having any negative energy associated with making money. Absolutely. But I'm also hyper aware of the fact that some of the funnest times I've ever had are flying a 10 quid kite with my kid, or riding my skateboard with my friends, and when I had no money, when I was homeless, and I had holes in all my clothes, and I'm dirty because I haven't taken a shower for 3 days, and I'm hungry and I have no food, but I could care less, like, that's some of the funnest times I've ever had. And those bonds that I've made with people, the people that are going to show up to help me on moving day. If I have to move and I rent a truck and I tell people to show up, do you think any of my YouTube audience is going to show up? Like, they appreciate me, but I don't think they're going to show up to help me move, but my skateboarder friends, they'll show up, as long as I have pizza and beer, they'll show up.
I was going to say, as long as you bring some beer with you, they're there, yeah.
Right. And those are the people that, can actually, you can count on them, and I'm like, well, this truck's so big, I can't really drive this truck. I've never driven a truck this big. And somebody just goes, I got it, I got it. And they just jump in the seat and they're driving, you know what I mean? It's important to have those people that care for you. A lot of people don't know I had a heart attack scare. It wasn't an actual heart attack. This was probably at least 5 to 7 years ago. And what happened is I drove 24 hours straight. I drove 1,700 miles. Sorry, I said miles. I'm sorry.
No, we're good. We're miles over this side as well. We're all kind of messed up.
Okay. So I drove 1,700 miles in 24 hours by myself. And towards the end, I was stopping at every gas station on the way. And I was, getting these fake cappuccinos, which is actually just coffee flavoring and like caffeine powder. Right. So then I get home and I get all sick. I can't sleep. I'm sweating. Try to take a shower, start getting cramps all over my body. And then my arm starts hurting really bad to where I'm just laying on the floor, rolling around. And my wife's getting all scared, like she's going to call the ambulance. And a buddy of mine stops in unannounced. And he was like, what the hell? No, let's go. And he just picked me up like a baby. And we ran, he went to the car and then he kicked the door down in the emergency room. It was like, this man's having a heart attack. I never seen anyone get to the back of the hospital as fast as I did. And those are the type of people that you want to make long-term relationships with. The people that will, really care for you and help you out. I'm confident that if I lost everything right now, there's people that would, let my family stay in their guest house in the back or their guest room. We'll pack it all into one room, or they'll give me a job, or whatever it is. Give me the 1 to 2 months I need to build up my new thing online that's going to help me or whatever it is. Say I got canceled by the internet, freaking cancel culture. But that's what's important to me. Money comes and goes. You know what I mean? I'm not rich by any means, but I do feel rich. And I know my younger self would be like, man, he's rich. He worked for himself. He got 2 nice cars, not like, exotic cars, but 2 $500 a month car payments. My fridge is always full of food. If my friends come over, they can eat whatever they want. I'm not going to be like, stay out of my fridge. You know what I mean? Like, don't drink beer, so
you live in bloody California, man. If you live in California and you're paying the rent, you're doing well. That's as far as I'm concerned.
That's what I tell people. They don't understand. Like, how come you don't have a mansion? I was like, well, I don't live in Indiana.
It's a different game out there, man. It's crazy. But listen, I mean, this is what it comes to, especially right now, what we've all been going through. I think it really brings home what's more important. So many people have had those longer conversations with their neighbors, even had a conversation with their neighbors for the first time in 10 years that they've stopped and said, are you okay? Seriously, are you all right? Do you need help? And how you getting on? And really want to know the answer rather than just saying, how you doing? And not really caring. It's just something you throw out there. People are looking you in the eyes and say, are you okay? Are you doing all right? Because this shit's real. This is what really matters. And I've had people come into me on consultations on seriously big earners in consultation businesses, and they're like, my business has stopped now. I don't have a business anymore. And they were doing big business, and now it's like, well, can you help me get onto Amazon and start doing that, because I don't have a business anymore. And in the last few months, I can count 3 very big hitters, and some of them in businesses that own businesses that are household names in the UK, and they're coming to me like, I need to do something different. So a lot of people don't realize how crazy this is affecting people, and so what is it all for?
Everything happens for a reason. I'm not religious, but I do believe in energy, and I'm a bit of a hippie. I had my psychedelic phase when I was younger, but I do believe everything happens for a reason. I was raised on that mentality, especially where I live. It's a very hippie community counterculture. It's not, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? It's okay. That door closed. There's many more doors that are open. I just need to find the right one and walk through it. That's it. There's more opportunities. Focus on your happiness, more so than sacrifice happiness just to pay the bills. Walk through one door, go to the next. That's it. Everything happens there's so many, I had a terrible childhood, but it all happened for a reason. It built me to this person that is so comfortable with having his back against the wall that I just put straps on the wall and took it with me. I take it with me now. I know what it's like to feel, and I can turn it on and turn it off. Back against the wall, let's go. It's black and white. We're going to succeed because failing is not an option. You know what I mean? You only really fail when you give up. But back to real quick what you were saying about talking to your neighbor. You know, I've lived in this condo for 3 years, and I don't really talk to my neighbor very much, but, you know, we're both home a lot more, and I've been talking to him here and there. And just the other day we were harvesting the figs off of our tree, and we don't really eat them. They grow so many, and they go ripe so fast, you know. I don't know if that's just how figs are. They don't keep like apples, you know what I mean? He was like, you know, what are you doing with all the figs? Like, we had a box full, you know, like you can't eat all those, you know. And I was like, you know, we'll eat some of them, but I gotta pick them or they're gonna fall in my car and ruin the paint job, you know. And he's like, let me have them. I'll make jam for you. And I was like, cool. Gave him to him. Lived next to him for 3 years. Haven't even known his name, you know. Now I know his name. And sure enough, a week later, knocks on the door and brings me 4 jars of spicy fig jam. You know, and I was like, wow, like this is cool. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know exactly what the reason. It's hard to. I think that's kind of like what enlightenment is. You know, is to be able to see, because it's easy to see in hindsight. Oh, having a bad childhood made me tough and made me to be able to pursue options like this. But it's very hard to be in the moment and experiencing the what you would say is bad in that moment, and try and understand why is this happening. You know what I mean? Even something as bad as you got a divorce. You know what I mean? It's the end of the world, but then you end up finding, you know, a new woman, and I'm not saying she's better or whatever, but, you know, it's a better fit for you, and you have another kid, and then you repair relations with your ex-wife, and now you guys are friends, and that relationship's strong, much stronger than when you were fighting and arguing as husband and wife or whatever. You know, there's always a reason something happens. And I think that's always helped me in staying positive, and just continuing forward, and just being like, I 100% know there's good that's coming out of every, you know, micro bad thing that happens. There is a macro good that comes out of it. You just have to keep going until you find it.
Yeah, and this is the thing. I think not judging the situation as well is really important, because there's one thing you can guarantee is stuff's going to change. Stuff always changes. You know, you can hang your coat on something and say, okay, yeah, if you hang your success on what you're doing right now, and then you can't do it anymore, then you're going to look at yourself like a failure. And you can't do that, because, as you know, especially in this business, you've got to pivot so many times and change your angle and change your approach and change your philosophy. That's just life. That happens in everything. Look at goddamn TikTok. You know, that might be going out of the water fairly soon. There's a lot of people that have built their own identity on TikTok.
Nothing continues forever. And I think that's a really good point, is that you need to leverage your micro success to continue your macro journey, right? So it's like, most people probably aren't going to develop a company that's going to last their entire lifetime. And I think about that even more so now, because things change so often. The way the internet works changes. The way the consumer does stuff changes so quickly that it's become harder to have, you know, a store or a business that just continues on and on. So just like I leveraged my Amazon success and freedom to start Reezy Resells on YouTube, I'm now leveraging the Reezy Resells success to start a family vlog on YouTube. And you might see that maybe 5 years from now, Reezy Resells not a thing anymore, but my family vlog is the next thing. And we're living off that and traveling, you know, and doing that. So, you know, it's just the same thing, just doing it in a different way. Guys, opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's right. I mean, maybe at some point, a lot of people, your whole early sort of YouTube thing was always the guy who scaled books. You know, that was your identity. It could be in the future that you don't do books anymore, but that doesn't change who you are or what you do or how you make your money. It's just how you evolve as a person, as a business, and how you choose to move forward. And that's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And people need to disassociate what they do with what they are, you know, and you can.
That is huge. That's a huge point. That's huge. And I struggle with that too, because right now I'm making a lot of content that's not selling books. And I'm actually currently pretty much almost not selling books. I haven't bought any books for 2.5 months now. Right. And so we're doing other things, but I struggle with that. Am I the book guy? You know what I mean? Have I made, you know, or I need to go back to what I've always thought, you know, the first time I was on the internet and I was like, wow, this internet thing is it. Like, this is the way we're going to make a living. And as a kid, I always tried all these different things. You know, I'm filling out surveys and getting $2 checks every month. And my mom's like, where are these checks coming from? You know, you don't even have a bank. How did you get checks? You know, and because I'm doing weird little stuff on the internet. And then we found eBay, and then we found books. And then we realized it was Amazon. I didn't even know what Amazon was. You know, it's just books. Then through selling books, I met other sellers, and I learned about selling other stuff because I sold only books for 10 years. Imagine if I would have tried other stuff earlier, you know?
Yeah. You said that to me many times.
Yeah. So lately I've been trying to reprogram myself to be like, look, you're not the book guy. You're that guy that is going to tell people who come from a similar background as you that they can make it and be successful making money on the internet. And here's 2,500 different ways to make money on the internet, because you know what? You might not like selling books, or you might not like wholesale, or you might not like private label, or you might not like Amazon. You might want to do eBay or clothing or Shopify, or maybe you want to open a brick and mortar, but you buy your stuff off the internet, you know, or maybe you just want to do drive for Uber, you know, or whatever. Like, I recently made videos around the gig economy for DoorDash or for Instacart, which is grocery shopping for other people. And it did so well, like you wouldn't believe how well it did. Like, I have, I think I have like 10 videos, and over 4 or 5 of them have 100,000 views and are in my top 10. 5 of my top 10 videos of the last 5 years are stuff I made in the last 3 months since the pandemic hit about gig economy, and the comments blowing up. Between me and my daughter, we've signed up so many people that we've made over $15,000 of referral commission from signing people up. And the videos are making me thousands of dollars. And the most important part is the audience is saying, this changed my life. Like, we both got laid off. We've wanted to start reselling, but we've always been scared to kind of get it going. Then you made these videos about this thing, and we signed up, and now my kids had Easter, but they weren't going to have Easter before. You know, now I'm making $1,000 a week doing Instacart or DoorDash or Uber Eats or Uber or whatever. And so that kind of made me go, oh, wow. I've been like one track minding what I've been putting out and my audience. And a lot of them are kind of just like, well, I know this internet money thing is real because I trust Reezy and he's giving me the goods, but I either am scared to try or don't have the time to figure it all out. Well, guess what? Some stuff is more accessible for other people. And maybe I need to post all kinds of different stuff so that, you know, the right one hits you to change your life. You know what I mean? And, you know, so like you said, maybe a couple years go by and people will remember kind of that I was the book guy, but they'll just be like, yeah, Reese's the authority on making money on the internet. Like, he'll tell you every way you can make money on the internet. He's tried it all.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the thing. You don't necessarily have to brand yourself as long as you're being you and doing your thing. If your thing is helping people get freedom and independence by building businesses on the internet, then that's your thing. And whatever that is, you know, I'm exactly the same situation. My top 3 videos on YouTube are talking about DHgate, which is the Chinese importation platform.
Yeah, you don't do private label.
No, don't do it. There's someone asked me a question about it. Someone said, can I trust DHgate? And so I did a video, said, can I trust DHgate? And it just so happened, coincidentally, a lot of people asking that question. That's the hundreds of thousands of views, like 500,000 views or something. And you know, it's my most successful video. I did a follow-up video about some other stuff, and that's gone crazy as well. And now, literally, I've been doing wholesale for 10 years, and my most popular videos are on a totally different subject. Now, yeah, if people are asking me questions, then I can help them. And if I've got some answers, then I'm going to tell them. But yeah, I quite often say a lot of these people are actually not looking to make money. They're looking to actually buy stuff from DHgate. You know, a lot of the time, fake Yeezys and Rolexes. And I'm just giving them a wake-up call saying, just make sure if you want to buy fake stuff, cool. But just make sure you know that it's all fake, right?
True. It's probably too good to be true.
Exactly. So if you want to buy fake stuff, I'm not going to judge you. Just don't buy it thinking it's real. So that's all my thing.
Right.
But, you know,
Yeah, so you're not tied to the thing, you know, like what I've came to your thing and I've talked about books, and I think I talked about books twice, and I talked about print on demand one time.
Yeah,
and these are all great opportunities. Like, honestly, I should make more print on demand stuff, because different hustles are better for different people. You know, there's the stay-at-home mom that has 2 hours a day where the baby sleeps. That's all she got. You know, she can't go to the thrift store during that time, but she could, you know, take some classes and learn how to be a graphic designer and start posting t-shirts or Kindle books or whatever, you know. And maybe next time I come out to visit you, you're not billing me as, you know, the reseller. You're billing me as, you know, a 200,000 subscriber YouTuber that's coming to do day training about YouTube.
Yeah,
you know,
content creation, or any number of stuff, and that's cool too. You know,
it's just all about providing value, you know, to the community. When you put out good, you get back good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and this is the thing. When people come to me for a consultation hour, and they say, I need to get started. What's the best avenue to get started? And I usually say, well, tell me about you. Tell me what your situation is. Have you got lots of spare time? Have you got lots of money? Have you got not very much money, but you've got spare time? And then I will suggest what's good for them and what suits them, and not necessarily there's not a cookie cutter way that everyone can do the same thing. You know, I've had people come to me in the last month that have £50,000 to invest and want to scale a business. Other people have £250. They're going to be two very different business models. And yeah, one guy's going to get there a lot quicker, but the other person is going to spend very little money and is going to be in profit a lot quicker. You know, that's just two different ways, and there's no judgment there for me at all. If I can help the person with 250 make a difference in their life, I'm really pleased to do that, just as much as helping someone with a lot of money scale up quickly. You know, that's all good.
Yep, there's so many ways to skin a cat. You guys say that one?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's true. And you know, we all come from different places. Both you and me started on eBay. I was selling iPhone cases, original iPhone cases, on eBay back in the day. And you know, I've already pivoted 100 times to get to here, and I'm sure I'm going to pivot 100 times again when I'm older and things have changed. You know, Amazon's not going to be Amazon for the rest of our lives.
Exactly. We might be on, you know, I don't know, Zamazon. I don't know. It's a weird website. Who knows? You know, like, it's hard for me to imagine Amazon collapsing, you know, but everything changes. And already I'm starting to sell on different platforms. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much different stuff, you know, and I kind of had a vision about this, Andy, about reselling, to where right now it's very fragmented. There is 10 to 20 different platforms you can sell on, including you're starting to see the emergence of item category specific selling platforms, like kind of like Poshmark was kind of just for clothing. I forget, but there's one that's just for like camping stuff. You know, there's one that's just for music instruments, you know, and as a reseller, you can make more money selling on different platforms, and especially different items on different platforms. And there's different rules and regulations, and there's so much different opportunity. And, you know, you can buy off eBay and sell on Amazon, or buy on Amazon and sell on eBay, or buy on Poshmark and sell on eBay, or buy on ThreadUp and sell on eBay. Like, there's so much opportunity. And then also from that opposite side of that, as a consumer, your shopping experience is very fragmented. And I don't think that will last forever, right? Especially now that we have voice assistants. I believe that we will have someone will come about, and that you're already starting to see the emergence of platforms where you can go through their platform and it lists on every platform. And then when it sells on one platform, it automatically deactivates it on all the other platforms. And you're just listing in one place. Well, pretty soon there will be the opposite of that, which is the consumer buys in one place. And you just say, I want a pair of used Levi jeans, this size, black denim. And it finds you the lowest price, and you buy them. And as a consumer, it's going to be so seamless to where you don't even know what website it came from anymore. You're going to say, Alexa, buy me a pair of used 32-inch waist black denim boot cut Levi's, and it's going to be like, I found one on this for this. Should I buy it for you? Cool. It shows up. You know what I mean? And so it's a wild time, like everything's changing, and what kind of aspects of your business are going to change when that becomes, I definitely don't think online arbitrage in some form will exist forever, but I believe that a lot of the more mainstream stores, it's going to go through this lens, where you just shop, and that's not going to be Amazon. It's not going to be Amazon. It can't be Amazon because Amazon is by nature one notch down. There's going to be a new thing that's above Amazon, and everybody is underneath it. And it just, you search for what you want, tells you where the cheapest one is. That's it. Works every time. And then you buy it. You don't even care or know where it came from. And it comes and you're happy. And sellers and buyers are going to work the same way. And so that's what I think is going to be the next thing after Amazon. It's not that Amazon's going to die. It's that other platforms are going to take a little bit more of the pie here and there. And the consumers don't care where it comes from, as long as they get that same experience that Amazon provides. And in America anyways, Amazon was the first company that revolutionized online shopping to what it is now. You can trust it. They'll give you your money back, no questions asked if you're not happy. It comes in 2 to 5 days. The prices are pretty good, that's, and then like, and the reason Amazon's not as big in the UK or in Australia or in other countries as it is in America, if you don't buy on Amazon, you're probably homeless. Everybody buys on Amazon, right? There's no ads for Amazon anywhere. You don't see an ad, a billboard, a radio ad, nothing, nowhere in America for Amazon. But yet it is the place everyone shops. Why? Because they have been super duper successful. But when I went to Italy and when I went to Paris, I seen Amazon ads everywhere, all over the subway. Not on billboards. There's not so many billboards in other countries, but ads everywhere, right? And we don't have that. And I was talking to John Case, the JC Files, who's a UK bookseller, a reseller, and he was like, look, man, like, we've been able to get our groceries delivered from Tesco for 10 years. And that's when I realized, I was like, oh, when Amazon revolutionized online shopping, everybody in other countries saw that and copied them. And they brought that same experience to their country. And then when Amazon showed up and launched, it wasn't that big of a deal.
Already been doing it. Yeah.
America, it was like night and day. But when it showed up, it was just another person selling stuff in the UK or in Australia, right? So all these things are very important to understand, the consumer behavior, where things are going. But moral of the story is, if you pay attention to the internet, there will always be a way to make money off the internet. It connects you to people. It allows you to get your message. Like, it blows my mind, people who they're on their phones for 6 hours a day or 2 hours a day, whatever it is, YouTube, and all they do is consume this way. It's the same way we use the television. You got more channels, sure, but the most important part about what's happening now is you can go that way. You can put information out, and you could never do that on the TV. No matter how hard you yelled at the television when we were kids, no one would hear you.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, now you have the opportunity to become known, to become an authority, to become a household brand. When I was 8 years old, if I would have told people I was going to be featured in every major news agency in America, they'd be like, yeah, right, that's a shed load of bull. And the percentages of that happening are like next to zero, but I did it.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know what I mean? And so it's just important to know what's happening, to be able to pivot, to believe in yourself, and to not worry about, and actually just totally forget about anyone that says you can't do what you want to do, because you can't.
Yeah, exactly.
If anybody's done it before,
your camera's gone off. Sorry, Reezy.
If anybody has ever done it, that means you can do it.
Yeah.
That's it.
And what I find quite valuable, and I think it helps definitely with if you're prone to worry or get any anxiety, just like you said with your back to the wall and how you've had in the past, you've witnessed what it is like to to have nothing and be in that situation. If you can sort of visualize that and have a think about what the situation, what would happen, like you said, if you got cancelled and the internet got turned off, it's like, right, I need to do something, my income has gone to zero. What happens then? If you can actually say, well, in reality, maybe I've got a bit of a few quid lying around, so I'm going to be all right for a little while. I can stay here, or the mortgage is paid for a little while because I've got a bit of money behind me. But if you think about the worst case scenario and actually properly plan it out, what would happen? You think, okay, I can deliver pizzas. People are always need pizza delivery. You can walk into, in the UK, we're quite lucky. You can walk in and pick up a job tomorrow delivering pizzas, and you can start making money tomorrow. And you think, I could be all right. I'll be all right.
Hey, pizza delivery. I did pizza delivery. I always tell people pizza delivery is the best crappy job you can ever get. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have a lot of upside, right? But it was the first job I ever had where my income was based directly on my output. If you are faster at delivering pizzas and you do a better job, you can get more tips, right? You also get free pizza. That's good.
That's
good. You get to listen to whatever you want. When I did it, I was much younger, so I just listened to music, and I was like, oh, that's really great. But you could listen to podcasts. You can educate yourself or listen to, Tony Robbins tapes or whatever while you drive around. You don't have a boss pretty much. You know what I mean? And I think it's a great, crappy job.
Yeah, and this is what I'm trying to say. If you visualize that and you really go there and you really think in detail the steps, what would happen, and you realize, you can water the plants at the garden center, you can deliver pizzas. There's so many things you can do. You're gonna be all right. You're not gonna be on the street. You're not gonna be homeless. You can make it work. Then that gives you so much confidence to go forward and say, generally we're going to be all right. We're lucky. We live in America. We live in the UK. We're going to be okay. So then you can
think about it like, and I don't know if you guys have I'm going to go off a little side tangent, but I don't know if you guys have a crack epidemic in the UK, but there's crackheads, right? There's people or vicious drug addicts, and they pretty much are on the bottom of the line. Maybe they're sleeping in an abandoned building or whatever, but they wake up every morning and they go, they don't have any money. I'm going to get my drugs today. Right. So, and then they get it. And so, but you're able-bodied, and you still can't get what you want. Like you cannot be out hustled by a crackhead. Do not get out hustled by a crackhead. Even a crackhead finds a way. You're not a crackhead, so I know you can find a way.
Exactly.
That's like a delicate key, right? Because it's the same way where I say, if I did it, I know you could do it, but my background hardened me to be a certain way. So technically, yes, you have a better starting point than I do, and you have more options, but can you absorb the suck? You're going to give up after, 9 or 27 tries, because it might take 112 tries to get it right.
Yeah.
And I think most people probably haven't really tried, like so hard that you'll cry, Most people probably haven't really tried anything in their life more than about 5 times.
Yeah, that's right. And this is the thing. That's why psychology is so important with everything that you do, for that reason, because we see it all the time. When I help people start an Amazon business, I tell them, okay, this is what you've got to do. This is how you start up X, Y, Z. This is how you're going to be. It's like, okay, cool. And they'll come back to me and say, Andy, I tried to find some wholesalers and I contacted 3 wholesalers and they said no. They just said I can't. I said, okay. And then what did you do? It's like, well, I contacted you. It's like, so you contacted 3 people and they said no. Yeah, you've got to contact some more people, and someone will say, I had a really bad day. I really worked hard and I spoke to loads of people. I sent loads of emails. Hardly anyone people got back to me. And the few people that did said no. It's all right. So you could do some more, haven't you? You got
to think about the no's as, it takes X amount of no's to get to a yes.
Yeah.
And so every time you get a no, that's one less no that you have to go through to get to the next yes. Yeah. And I'll never forget being a young lad and going to the amusement park. I grew up by an amusement park, which was free to get into, but if you didn't have any money, you couldn't do anything fun. And so I learned how to scam the machines and do these little hustles, as a youngster. But when I became of age to where I became interested in girls, And I also live in a beach town, right? And so tourist town, people come here to go to the amusement park. And so every day of the summer, there was infinite options of girls to talk to. And I used to be so scared to talk to them. And this was before the internet and before cell phones. I was probably 12 years old. So it was like 96 or something, 95. And one day there was a really attractive girl and I almost talked to her and then I didn't. And then she had to leave and she was gone, you know, or I think I talked to her, but I didn't get to ask her for her phone number. And then her parents took her and they're gone. I'll never see her again, you know? And I swore to myself that I would never let that happen again. Specifically in that scenario of talking to girls. But I think it applies to everything, is just to be like, look, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Closed mouth does not get fed. If you want to get that girl's phone number, you need to ask her. She might say no, but who cares? You'll never see her again. You're never going to see her again anyways. You know what I mean?
There's a certain feeling you get just before you ask a girl that you've never spoken before, or just before you speak to someone.
Take that risk.
So exactly. Once you get used to that pit of your stomach feeling, it's like, I know I'm doing the right thing right now because I've got that slight blockage, that sort of slight resistance. Now I know this is exactly what I should be doing.
You have to feel the fear and do it anyways. That's a good book that people should read. But, you know, you have tremendous upside, and the downside is that you get a no. Like you need to get enough no's to where you're comfortable with no, to where it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. I expect the no.
Yeah, exactly.
I hope for the yes. I hope for the yes and pray for the yes, but I am expecting a no. So when I get a no, I don't feel a certain way. That is the way I thought I was going to feel.
Yeah, exactly.
That's normal. And when you get the yes, it's like, bam. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Hope for the best, but expect the worst, and you will never be let down when the bad situations happen.
You're unstoppable. You're absolutely unstoppable then, because you can't be put down, because if you're ready for that and you know the worst case scenario isn't that bad, you can just keep going and keep going. And that's the thing. When that's exactly what, you know, I've had when, you know, speaking to wholesalers or speaking to a girl for the first time. Once something changes in your brain, right? When the subconsciously you realize, oh, okay, the sky didn't fall down, nobody died, you know, that was okay. And then it opens up straight away. Then you can do it. You can do it infinitely. You can send.
I would almost say that if the thing that you're trying to do does not have that element, it's not worth doing.
It's not worth doing, exactly. Yeah. I mean, the people, when I say to people, you need to go to a trade show and you're there and there's businesses there and they want to talk to you business to business, it's scary. People are like, I don't know what to say to them. It's like, I know it's going to be scary, but I tell you what, it's like speed dating. There's loads of them there. You can't possibly speak to everyone. There's so many going to be there on the day. Just get started, speak to some people. It's going to be a bit awkward. Some of them might say, no, you're not the right fit. I'm not going to work with you. We only work with brick and mortar stores. Cool. Have a good day. See you later. And then that's the worst thing that can happen to your day right there, is they're going to say, I don't think we can do business.
The one tactical psychological tip that I will offer for people, and I don't know if I've ever said this, but this is how I do it. When I'm about to do something and then the fear comes and then that voice in my head says whatever it says, and it's never useful for what I'm trying to do. It's always defense, protect, preserve. It's defense. And that's not where growth comes from. I just like close my eyes and empty my brain completely. I just wipe it. Whatever is coming, just white screen. Just forget about it entirely, and then just do the thing. And then that reduces your anxiety to just starting, because you forget about what your voice is saying. Then you just start, and then you perform, and it either works or it doesn't. And I like with being on camera, or, you know, people will say, I can't talk to a camera. And I'm like, what do you mean? We just had a great conversation for 20 minutes. It was interesting. I'm hard to entertain, you know, and you're an interesting person. You can definitely be on camera. What are you talking about? You know, that's all in your head. And that's like an old adage in our brain that was meant to preserve us from like getting eaten by tigers, you know, like, well, that tiger looks nice. I want to go pet it. Whoa, buddy. Like, that's a tiger. You know, you probably shouldn't, you know, but somewhere there's someone riding a damn tiger and he's the king of the jungle, you know? And so you need to figure out, you know, what you're actually trying to do and understand that you are your own worst enemy most of the time. You know, it's not your competition or your lack of opportunity. It is your own lack of being able to take the chance.
Yeah, there's a great quote from a book called I can't remember the name of the book. It will come to me. But he basically said it's a common thing that a lot of psychology books say is you are not your thoughts. You know, you don't have to belong to your thoughts. Your thoughts are going to come into your mind and they're going to say, what if this, what if that, don't do that, it's bad, it's unsafe, what if you fail? You can say, all right, thanks, it's just my subconscious thoughts. Thank you, subconscious Andy. Thanks for the thoughts. I know you're trying to protect me. I know that's a good thing. Thank you. But I've got it. You know, I've got this. I'm good.
Now's not the time. If what you want to do in life or in the moment is not, or you feel it's not possible, it is never due to lack of resources. It's due to lack of resourcefulness.
Great one.
Because if you really want something, you will always find a way. Always.
Yeah, and quite often you'll put barriers in your own way. I see it all the time. The psychology, when people start something new, they're always asking me, what about this? What about that? It's like you're jumping ahead. You're asking questions to make barriers. Why are you even asking this? You're not there yet. You know, there are ways around it, but you shouldn't be asking.
You're trying to figure out how to build the 12th bridge for the 12th river you're going to cross. Focus on crossing the river that's in front of you right now.
Exactly. Yeah, it's natural. It's human, and I'm fascinated by the psychology because I can see it whenever people start a new thing that they go through this thought process. What if this? What if that's? What if that? It's like it's natural.
I'm sure you have friends like that, right? You have friends that are like, you know, real friends outside of I mean, not to say that internet friends aren't real friends, but I mean people you met in real life. They know what you do on the internet. You've told them everything. They're too scared to try. They always have what if this and what if that. And so you have to resort to being like, okay, I can have a beer with the pub with this guy and we can play, you know, shuffleboard or whatever, you know, our wives have a good time hanging out, you know, we go diving together or boating or whatever, but it's not that entrepreneur relationship, you know, because some people, they're just, I don't know, it's a mental block or whatever. They need to get therapy, but they just cannot get over the fact of they will only do stuff when everything's in front of them. They have the map. They know everything. You know what I mean?
A limited mindset.
To be truly successful in life. Well, I guess success is subjective. Whatever you think is success. But I think all of the stories worth talking about came from people that were willing to take a journey, you know, and they didn't have all the answers.
Yeah, exactly. You've just got to take a leap of faith sometimes and know if you fall down, you're not going to die. You know, if you take that leap and you do fall, you can get back up and you can do it again. And that's all that matters, because if you know that and you know you're going to be good, then you can just keep leaping. And it is statistically impossible not to succeed if you keep doing it. That's it.
Yep. Yeah. You only truly fail when you stop trying, right?
Exactly. That's right. I mean, it's impossible not to get. So, like a lot of people say, getting wholesale supplies is really difficult. It can be, but only if you quit and you stop when someone says no. Quite often, you'll actually ask, and a lot of people will say yes. But sometimes they say no. Just like buying books, you see it all the time when people will start buying books for the first time. I went into a shop. I scanned 3 shelves of books, Reezy, and none of them are any good. And what did you do with the rest of the books?
Scan 3,000 every day.
Scan more, and you'll find them. There will be money there, but you gave up before you found them. That's your problem. You left the shop, so you stopped, and you didn't find the $28 book and the $35 book that was just on the next shelf. You didn't see it because you gave up.
Yeah, there's so much, you know, you need to vary the way you're trying, you know, and you don't just. Sometimes trying the exact same way a bazillion times actually does result in success. I think maybe you don't realize the changes you're making. They're like, you know, subconscious. But generally, I would tell people you should try different things. Every time it doesn't work, try and think about why it didn't work, and then try again a little bit differently, whether it's showing up earlier or talking to a different employee or trying to go on Wednesday instead of Tuesday. You know what I mean? Like,
every no is an education, because they usually give you a reason why, and then it's like, oh great, that's a great no, because now I'm forearmed. Now I know more for next time. That's always the way. always the way, as you say. The no is because of this. I said, okay, well, next time when I ask the next person, I'm going to make sure that I've got that, or I'm going to cover that. That's just the way it is.
Yep. Yeah. It's why mistakes are valuable, and if you learn from your mistakes, they become valuable.
Yeah.
And then you don't, I'm happy to make a mistake. I love making a mistake. When I try something for the first time and I succeed, I'm disappointed. Disappointed. Because there was no struggle versus, to get to the reward. And I know now from, I'm not old, I'm 36, but I know that that was a fluke. When you try something that is supposed to be hard and you have beginner's luck, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you know how to do it. And it doesn't, doing it for 5 years through all the faces of different myriad of objects thrown at you, that is success, because you know how to deal with it, And so, exactly. I mean, if I trying to fix something and it fixes itself, especially computers, and I don't know why it fixed itself, I don't celebrate that. I will, in fact, break it again on purpose, because I want to know how I fixed it and why it broke and why, you know what I mean? It's just, it's maddening. Maybe I'm insane. I should just let it be fixed, but I want to know why, because I want to get value from that mistake.
Exactly. And you don't know whether it's going to go wrong again. If you don't know how you fixed it, you don't know if it goes wrong again. It could go wrong again because you don't know what the problem was in the first place. So, yeah, definitely. Right. Definitely.
And I do think the older we get, the wiser we get. It's true, but I don't mean it in the sense of knowledge and information. Like in the example that I just gave about trying stuff and then trying it again. When I was younger, and I'll just use the example of skateboarding. Skateboarding is hard. It takes hundreds, if not thousands, of tries to learn a new trick, and you feel really rewarded when you land it. But I would just try 1,000 tries until the sun went down and I couldn't, or I was too physically tired to try it. Well, now that I'm a little bit older, I learn stuff way faster. Yeah. And I'm less physically capable, but mentally I'm way more capable. Sure. I can try something and then go, why did that not work?
Yeah.
And what can I do? Maybe I should move my foot forward 1 inch. The younger me would have been like 1 inch. What the hell does that have to do with anything? Yeah. Dude, you never know. Yeah. Just try a little bit differently, like you're going into this business meeting for the third time, and maybe you wore a suit the first 2 times, and you don't realize it, but maybe wearing a suit made them feel threatened, and that's why you didn't get the business deal. Maybe you should show up in flip-flops, cargo shorts, and a tank top. Maybe that would do the deal. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like there is so many different things you can try in any different scenario. If you're not having success, think about why and try it a different way.
Yeah, exactly. Really, really wise words. I think, as you say, you work smarter as you get a bit older. You learn to try different things because you're more open-minded. I think you've been there and you've seen younger Reezy do things in a certain way, and you're wiser Reezy now. So what you lack in ability, you make up for in wily smarts. So that's a good way to look at it. Listen, Reezy, we've been on this call for an hour and a half. Can you believe?
Yeah, no, time flies. I do got to take off though. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's good to talk to you, man. I appreciate you coming on for so long. It's been really good. I've really enjoyed catching up, actually, and I think we've definitely uncovered some interesting stuff for sure.
Yeah, it's fun. I love these kind of talks much more than I love the tactical talks. Like I'm thinking about, I'm going to start interviewing people who are like straight beginners on Amazon and people who have like just barely broke free of their 9-to-5 and no one knows who they are and they don't do social media. Maybe they're only on Facebook, but because I want to share, something that's interesting and more real and tangible, not this is how you do this. This is how you do that. I'm an expert. Listen to me. Like, no. I am you. And this is how I did it. You know what I mean? And those huge conversations, like you said, are much more interesting. All of this stuff has been said. All of the information has been said already, know? So I want to be inspired and motivated, by people that were maybe like me once, and have that human connection that we all need.
Absolutely. I think this is far more, for me anyway, this is far more motivating and inspiring than just putting out the tactics, because you say it's all out there. I've been talking about it for over 10 years. You've been doing it for over 10 years and talking about it for nearly as long. So, it's all out there, and I need more to be able to get the passion for this business as well. So, thanks anyway. Thanks for chatting, and it's been good catching up. I'm glad things are doing well for you in whatever way they take in the next few months. And look after yourself, look after your family. Say hi to Rosa and the kids for me, and we'll catch up soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, hopefully sometime soon we can have another summit either there or here. But I'll see you.
Yeah, for sure. I've got to get over to LA soon, man. I miss it. All right, dude. Take care.
LA, but you should try Santa Cruz sometime.
Yeah, well, I did. Bizarrely, when you came over for your last for the last event, you went off to Italy and Paris. I came over to LA and I went to Santa Cruz while you weren't there. So you did it round the wrong way.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, thank you so much. It's been a blast.
All right, dude. Take care.